2025 has been a long year and it's been a very successful year for solar generation. AFERY have sent me a Christmas present and I thought we should unwrap it together and you can see my initial impressions and just a reaction to unboxing a new product that I don't know anything about. This has come about because of the encouragement of my wife, who loves my initial reactions to stuff. So I'm going to do it with this. Follow along. They always at least double box these power stations. Okay, so this is AFERY's latest power station. Well, I really like those grab handles. Good ergonomics and good solid handles straight away, good positioning. Okay, I know basically nothing about this power station. AFERY P280, and that 280 is because it's got a 2,800 watt inverter in it. So that is quite a beast for something that is easily manageable. Should we turn it on and see how we go? Power is the big button, nice, easy to find. Oh, I can hear it whirring into life. Okay, shipped with 27%. That's reasonable. Wow, those fans kicked in straight away. Let's see if they die down. Yeah, there you go. So it's got an initial fan engagement. Big, clear display immediately. Right, let's get the... Right. Before we get into all of that, let's jump into the future. Let's do some proper torture testing. Let's put it through its paces. And that's when we come to the kitchen. Test number 1, toaster. No problem at all. The toaster, my toaster anyway, it takes about 840 watts. Well within the 2,800 watts that this can do. It's currently charging my phone at about 40 watts as well. Okay, we need something more than the toaster. Well, here I've got a microwave oven combi thing. Pop that in. Let's try it on just quick start on the microwave. Go. Okay, and that is outputting, well, about 1,500 watts, 1,400 watts, thereabouts. Fluctuating a little bit between 1,300 and 1,500 watts. But that's happily powering that microwave, no problem at all. What if we put the grill on? I wonder how much power the grill uses. Interesting, the grill uses about 1,150 watts. No problem at all, we're not even scratching the surface of this thing yet. Convection oven. Let's go. 200 degrees C. Yep. Now we're talking 2,200 watts. Excellent. Now we're getting closer to the capacity. Right, let's try a few more things in the kitchen. We're not close to tripping this out yet, and that's always our aim with these power stations. Push them to their very, very limit. We know if this power station can sustain 2 kilowatt, then we know that you could charge an EV from this on a granny charger. What about my wife's Kenwood Chef XL? I don't think we've ever tested that on the channel before. Well, that is disappointing, I guess. There's no load in there, so it's not straining the motor, there's no resistance. And so that Kenwood Chef XL, despite it saying it's got a 1,200 watt power rating, it was only consuming less than 300 watts. Disappointing. Now it's time for the big one. The most power hungry appliance in most people's homes, the kettle. Let's switch it on. Let's see if this power station can handle it. And this kettle is a 3 kilowatt rated kettle. Some of you out there might only have a 2 kilowatt kettle. There are, of course, different ratings, but let's see what this can handle. Okay, it's currently saying 2.6 kilowatts. It's doing it, you know. Well, there's a first for everything. This is the first power station of this size that is actually portable and manageable that has been able to power this particular kettle. The only other power station I've got that I've tested that could do that was the big AFERY, the one on wheels, the P310. That could do it no problem at all. But I'm impressed. This can power the kettle, can power everything that I've got here in the kitchen. The only way we're going to push this thing to its limit is multiple devices. So I have just refilled this kettle with some colder water. Let's go get the toaster as well and run them both at the same time. Okay, right, kettle on and toaster on. Oh, 3,500 watts. Oh, 2,800 watts. What's going on here then? The little readout is saying it is at its maximum, but I know that both of these appliances combined should have a higher rating than that, and it is powering both. You can see the light is on the toaster there, the light is on the kettle. It is successfully powering both. Interesting. Let's see how long this lasts. Let's see if it will trip out at all. Well, the kettle has boiled and the reading for the toaster here is saying 871 watts. Well, 40 watts, so that is my phone. 830 watts for the toaster and the kettle, and it was all working fine. So we've boiled a full kettle, no problem at all. And interestingly, I'm just going to pop my mic in here so you can see, no fans have kicked on, which has really surprised me. Typically, when we run an inverter that hard to boil a kettle on like the P310 or any other appliances that are consuming quite a lot of energy and they have high power demands, the inverters ramp up, they get warm very quickly, and the fans kick on. And sometimes the fans aren't temperature controlled, sometimes the fans preempt the temperature rise because it knows that it's drawing 2,000 watts, it knows it's going to get warm, so it kicks the fans on straight away. Not with this one. Complete silence, which is very impressive considering that this is turning out to be remarkably powerful, remarkably efficient, remarkably ergonomic, and now it is also remarkably quiet. Now, let's go and have a look at the computer and let's have a look at the pricing on this. If it hits that fifth factor of being well priced as well, then it's a wholehearted recommendation without any reservation. Well, here we are on the AFERY website, and I do think that this is probably an excellent value power station considering their retail price, $12.99. I wouldn't consider that excellent value. At $749, I do consider that good value. It has that XT90 car charging cable that I spoke about earlier. You can quickly add that as an add-on for $9.99. I will make sure I get you some discount codes. AFERY have always been great at sending me some discount codes in the past for my viewers. If you need more battery, that's not something I've tested, but it looks pretty slick. It looks like it could work really well. One cable from the main power station down to the next battery, and then you've got a secondary one, so you can piggyback them up. And if that's something that you need for some sort of off-grid solution, you need that for a shed or a workshop, then maybe that will work out as a real hassle-free, easy solution. Let me know what you think. Do you think that that is good value for money? At $749, we are getting a micro inverter essentially built into this, a solar charge controller of 1,200 watts. We are getting a 2,800 watt AC inverter for powering AC devices, plenty of USB sockets and other connectors, and we are getting over 2 kilowatt hours of battery storage, all for £749. I think that's reasonably priced. And app control as well. Let's not forget that. Anyway, back to the rest of the video. Okay, just brought this out to my dark and dingy solar shed on this dreary day, and I can confirm that this is two separate MPPTs, so the panels can be facing different orientations and everything else. So at the moment I've got two XT90 connectors. One just goes straight into MC4s on a singular panel over there, and then I've got another one which goes into parallel connectors there, which then goes up to these two top panels. So I've effectively got three 505 watt panels hooked up to this at the moment, but as you can see, it's so dreary, we're only getting 136 watts. And if I go and put a board over that one panel, it doesn't affect the MPPT for these two panels. So that's the conclusion of the test, but I might as well just leave this out, seeing as it's still daylight, see how much charge we get. The sun is actually shining on the 24th of December. Let's have a little look at what we're getting. So I've kind of hooked up 4 of these panels in the best way that I could. 3 of them into one of those parallel connectors to keep the voltage within the acceptable range. And then just one singular panel is just going into the secondary input. So I'm using both of those XT90 inputs. And at the moment, getting 290 watts. It's telling me it's going to be fully charged in 80 minutes, and we're up to 82%, and I believe this was on 37% when I plugged it in a couple of hours ago, so we're doing very well. 286 watts, and it's charging consistently. Oh, if I'd have pressed the button, it would have been a bit brighter and a bit easier for you to see on this little screen. It's actually quite handy as well having the XT90 inputs on the end, because I've had to kind of stretch a few of these cables to get this all to connect together and get all 4 panels. The sun is in completely the wrong direction. These panels up here, they face southeast, and the sun at the moment is right over in the west over there. So anyway, we're making the best we can, and this is doing quite well. I'm going to show you what I've been powering with this in the next clip, I hope. It's doing a great job running our dehumidifier, and we're trying to keep our humidity level inside the house below 50%. If you want to see a full dedicated video about this dehumidifier, I haven't been sent it, it's not a sponsored video or anything. I purchased that with my own money from Amazon. As you can see, the compressor has kicked on and the fan is running flat out on that, so this is what they call their turbo mode. It's consuming 200 watts, which says 90% battery. That will last me 7 hours, and I've typically been running that for about 2 hours a day, and that brings the humidity level down kind of 45%, something like that. So absolutely no problem for this, running a constant 200 watts. And from my initial testing, this seems to be pretty efficient in that sort of range. If you're drawing a very low power consumption from these power stations, then quite often the idle consumption, it can be 10-15 watts by itself sometimes, and so the overall efficiency gets affected quite significantly. And there's also the efficiency range of the inverter as well. At 200 watts, this seems to do very well, and the standby efficiency is definitely below, the standby consumption is definitely far below 10 watts of this unit. So I'm charging this mostly at the moment in my solar shed. Very easy with those 2 inputs. Hopefully I've already taken some footage and insert it here, and then I'm bringing it inside and I'm running things like my dehumidifier, so I can run that for hours and not have to worry about it drawing from my home storage battery, which is running my heat pump and other major appliances. Okay, let me show you some other things that this thing can do, because 200 watts is not really pushing the limits of what this thing is capable of. Now, during Christmas time, of course, we've had lights up all over the place, and they don't consume a huge amount of energy, but seeing as I got portable power stations, I might as well put them to good use. And I don't know how well the charging is going to work today with all that snow on that thing, but that's another issue for another video for another day. Snow on solar panels. Got an 8-foot tree in here, one of those pre-lit ones, and as you can probably see, just a few fairy lights strung around. Anyway, they are being powered by the power station, and there's a couple of really important reasons why. So there's a few solutions that you can come up with, but if you see my plug socket there, this does not plug into the plug socket. Despite it being right next to the tree, the top of it just catches on that baseboard there. So first of all, we don't want to damage the wiring or anything. So you could use an extension lead, but seeing as I've got the portable power station, and this goes to show why it's important not to have those top flaps on there, because if there was a top flap on there, you wouldn't get these sort of adapters plugged in. Now, that's a positive, but on the other side, a slight negative. Check this out. If I try and plug that in there, no, it doesn't. It does actually. Yeah, I am powering it up, but I'm not happy with that. It's at a slight angle. So for these type of sockets here, these types of plugs, the sockets are just a little bit too close. Now, I did try 3 sort of regular style plugs, and they do just about squeeze in there, but these 3 sockets are very close. Most of the time I'm using just 1 socket, to be perfectly honest, and occasionally, like now, we've got 2 in there, but it's something to bear in mind. If you've got a chunky plug, then you may not get all 3 in there, and then you may need to use an adapter or an extension lead. Anyway, on to some more testing. That is a very big clear display. Good for camping to have a light on it. We have found that actually a very handy thing. If you ever do camping, or you have this in some sort of camper van or emergency power situation for a blackout, then the light actually is a very good feature. As much as you might think it's something that you're not going to use that much. On this, oh wow, okay. So we've got 4 USB-C ports. Let me bring you in closer here so you can have a look yourself. Okay. Along the bottom here, 4 USB-C ports, but interestingly, we've got 2 of them, 140 watt PD, that's power delivery. So you've got the standard USB-A ones, and they're 5 volt, 2.4 amp ones, and you've got other DC connectors, so this will probably be, yeah, okay. So you can use any of your portable fridge or compressor or anything like that. And that one is a standard, so that's an XT60 connector. That one can output 25 amps on this connector, and your standard like cigarette lighter, old school socket, those can do 10 amps. And then they've got these smaller barrel ones, which actually you will find functional for lots of the portable little fridges and stuff. But 6 USB ports on something this size, I'm gonna have to go and get my other power stations to do a comparison. But 6 is good. Some of the other ones that I've got, I don't think I've got any that have got 4 USB-C. So it's definitely showing that this is a newer model. Now, what have we got on this side? Oh, this all looks very familiar and very standard. Wow, okay. So we've got 2 XT90 solar inputs. Do not exceed the 55 volts. Very interesting. So it does have the overload protection up here. So in my previous testing, I have overloaded the voltage on these ports. I do it for testing purposes. I appreciate that I will invalidate the warranty by doing stuff like that, but you should be aware of the voltage. So just for example's sake, outside you will have seen my video, hopefully, with my solar shed. That's got 505 watt panels on it, and I would not be able to put 2 of those panels in series because it would exceed this voltage. So I could put 1 panel on each one of these inputs, or I could put 2 panels in parallel on this one, 2 panels in parallel on this one, for example. Of course, you've got, I've forgotten the name of this connector, and it doesn't say, but some people call it a kettle lead. And that one, we've got 1800 watts of input, and the solar, we've got 1200 watts of input, which is excellent. So it's 600 watts per XT90 connector. And the good thing about that is not only that you've got 2 separate inputs, which gives you a higher wattage input, but also you could have the panels facing different orientations as well. So these typically will be wired to individual MPPTs, but we can test that. Okay, is there anything that we've missed on the spec side of things? So the battery capacity, it's 2 kilowatt hours or 2048 watt hours. The battery is storing that energy at 51.2 volts. AC input, PV input, we've talked about. AC output, we've talked about 2,800 watts. And if this was used as UPS, then it would be 2,400 watts. If you're not familiar with the UPS, that's an uninterrupted power supply. So you would want this for things like computers and other sensitive electronics in case of any blackout or any blips in the grid. This can even stabilize the voltage between the grid and your sensitive devices. And then we've talked about the other inputs and outputs here. Okay, move around to this side. Oh, I am so glad that they did not put a flap over the plug sockets. What's this other output here? So we've got the switch for the AC sockets here. And tap that. Okay, those turning on. We've got 3 plug sockets, which is plenty enough for something of this size, really. And this is labeled as output, but I'm not familiar with that connector. So we're going to have to go and read the manual to discover what that's about. And interestingly, yes, it does look like it's got fans on both this end and the other end. And those grills, that is just plastic. That's not a metal heatsink on there. Excellent. So far, so good. Those are the handles I spoke about. Let's have a little look on the bottom. Oh, nice. Okay, so you've got these 1/4-inch bosses. There's 4 of those, just in case you've got somewhere that this needs to be mounted. Of course, with handles like this, the good thing with these handles being like this, perfect to pass a little strap through to strap this down if you need to strap it down in the boot of a car or, you know, in a van, pickup truck, whatever it is. And then brilliant, really, that's really good, solid rubber, non-slip feet. Perfect. So you can, I won't say you can chuck this down, but effectively chuck it down on the ground, no issues at all. Right, I think we should go and do some testing. What do you think? Time to plug this into the solar panels, see how this performs. So I've just gone and grabbed one of my power stations from the garage that I think this is most closely matched with, and we'll see what kind of improvements it brings. This has been one of the stalwarts, one of our favorites. This is just such a great size for taking camping, and it can run anything you throw at these devices, no problem at all. You could charge an EV, power kettles, microwaves, doesn't even bat an eyelid at all. Hello. So straight away, they do share a few things in common, and let me take the camera off the tripod to show you a bit closer. It's clear they have a similar handle design on them, and that's why when this one came out, I immediately liked it because I know how good these handles are. They're just so practical, the way that they've been orientated and designed on that. This one has way more of these rubber bungs, and I'm glad that this one does away and doesn't have all of those same rubber bungs, because they are just a pain, to be honest with you. And this one, although it does have 4 USB-C and 2 USB-A, same quantity as that. In fact, you've only got one that's 100 watt PD, whereas on this one, you've got 2 of them that are 140 watt. Otherwise, we've got same light and similar ports. It's very similar. This one is only 2,400 watt inverter, whereas that is 2,800 watt inverter. But crucially, around here on this side, hopefully the lighting is good enough for you, we've got the same fans and similar, but this had a flap over it, and I took the flap off because I found it annoying. This can only take 50 volts on the XT90 input, and there is only one of them instead of 2, and I believe that the maximum wattage input is 500 watts on this, and of course 1200 watts on this AFERY. On the other side, we've got a very similar setup with the 3 sockets, 3 plug sockets, but once again, this had a flap on it that I ripped off. In fact, it had 2 flaps on it. It had a separate one over the fans, and every time you turn this on, you had to lift this up to allow it to vent. And so we ripped those off. yes, it won't help with any waterproofing or anything like that, but I'm glad to see that this one doesn't have that. Although the design is very similar, no flaps to contend with, which is just a much cleaner, better design. Okay, let's get the manual out and let's figure out what this port does. If I look really close, I don't know if the camera's going to get that. Extra battery port, it says. So we can hook that up to an external battery. Let's have a look at the manual if I can find that. In my hunt for the manual, I found a few other goodies, okay? Okay, it says it uses the Bright EMS app, that's the same app we used for their AFERY P310. Parallel port. Capacity expansion can be achieved by connecting parallel cable to the portable power station. This interface supports a maximum input or output power of 4,608 watts. Just so you know, the UPS functions within 10 milliseconds, so pretty much good enough for anything. Aha! Battery pack connection instructions. So you can add 4 additional batteries via the parallel cables. So the total system capacity for this could be 10 kilowatt hours. Well, 10.2 kilowatt hours, so 10 and a quarter. So you could have one of these and then 4 additional battery modules. And the battery module looks like it's about half of this size, maybe 2/3 of this size in the illustration here. Excellent. And it confirms that it works the same way. The AFERY P310, when I connected the expansion battery, I was really impressed by the way that it balanced the load between the batteries, and it would basically equalize the capacity, the state of charge of those batteries. Right, what have we got here in the pack? This looks like a cover. Excellent. So these covers are very good. If there's an extended period that you won't be using this in a garage or something, whack one of these covers over it, just stop it getting all the dust inside all of the vents and stuff like that. And then we get here a nice little pouch and a nice little case. I like these touches that AFERY does. I've seen this with their folding solar panels. That's a good thing to try. It's a shame that it's winter solstice right now and the sun is the lowest and the worst, because this AFERY power station will be able to take those 2 big 400 watt AFERY solar folding panels I've got. Those folding solar panels came with all the cables and adapters, so I could plug both of those into this device in one go. No other adapters required. So in the pouch comes your standard 3-pin kettle lead, and it gives me another XT90 input cable with the 2 MC4 cables. Excellent. I don't get a car charger with this one. Maybe they just found that was a bit niche and not that many people were utilising it. I have used it a few times. It has come in handy when we're away camping. But I think if you're provisioned with enough solar panels, you probably won't need it. Okay, the last thing I wanted to show you. If you just see the difference in those 2 screens, this one over here is from 1992 and this one is coming a bit more up to speed. If we even show for reference, what have I got here? If I give you this warranty card, and you can see the size of the screen, but also the brightness and the clarity. Very, very impressive. The percentage just big and bold and clear, and the output as well. And I presume if we plug this in and start charging, the input figures as well. Compare it to this little one and see that is a tiny little screen. Okay, so the app to connect to this is the Bright EMS app, and I've used that previously for their P310. As you can see, it's added up there. Okay, so we'll press plus, add a new device. And then straight away, oh, there you go, it's found it, the P280. Let's add this new device. P280, okay, binding device. I can see a symbol has illuminated on the bottom right-hand corner of the device. It's actually, yeah, maybe you can see that in the bottom right-hand corner. Okay, let's connect it onto the Wi-Fi and let's see what we can do. Okay, took about 20 seconds, but it loaded the Wi-Fi information in, and now I can see the logo has actually changed on the display. Before it was showing that clearly my phone was connected by Bluetooth to that AFERY power station, and now the AFERY power station is connected to the Wi-Fi network. So now we can tap on here on the device. I presume it will give us a similar functionality to the P310, which has all the good essentials and a couple more bonuses as well. So yeah, it gives us a nice display what's going on. It gives us the switches, so we can just tap that and turn off the AC sockets. And I can tap this one and turn off the DC output as well. Yes, I do want to turn it off. You could turn on the LED, and let's go have a look at the settings here. Okay, remote shutdown, energy management, charging setting. This is good because it doesn't have a manual charging function on it, so you can't change the charging speed, but we can change, well, we can't change it with buttons on the device, but we can change it in the app. Shows us the DC input mode, so we can select between solar input and solar input. That's the only option it gives us, but we can limit the charging current input on that. AC silent charging and booking charging means we can set a timer. So I could set a timer for this to charge overnight. Okay, and then we can do other screen shutdowns and standby time, basic functions, and a few extra bonuses.